You've just been born in 15th century China. And oh no, you're a girl. Your parents are dirt poor farmers and see you less as a daughter and more as a pretty goat they can trade when the harvest fails. And you are pretty, which turns out to be both your greatest asset and your worst curse. See, in this world, beauty isn't freedom. You'll learn that soon enough. Your first few years are a blur of cracked mud floors, stale rice, and your mother telling you to keep your face clean. Not because she cares about your hygiene, but because the cleaner you look, the more likely some wandering official will notice you. And then, one does. One spring morning when you're 14, a pale, plump court eunuch in royal attire comes sauntering down the dirt roads in boots that cost more than your father will ever make in his lifetime. He eyes you like the way a butcher eyes a pig, lifts your chin, checks your teeth, inspects your hair, then he nods. Before you can blink, your father's already bowing so low he's practically eating dirt, and your mother's weeping into her sleeve. Half from grief, half from relief that you're someone else's problem. You're loaded into an ox cart, wrapped in a scratchy blanket. Congratulations! From mud floor to palace property in a single morning. Your parents don't wave. Wouldn't want to look too happy about the bargain. First stop at the palace? The eunuchs strip you bare in a marble bath chamber that reeks of rotting petals and incense. They dump you in a basin of flower water so pungent it burns the cuts on your ankles. Thin hands scrape the dirt from your back and scalp. Then they shave your hairline up high. The court's idea of beauty. One of them clicks his tongue and says you're too skinny for the emperor's taste. Nothing but bones to cradle in air. Cool. Guess that means they'll stuff you up with pastries, sweet rice cakes, pork broth, all the things you used to dream about while gnawing on bony chicken legs back home. You eat like you're storing up for a siege, but there's no such thing as a free meal here. You're not here to get fat and happy. You're here to be plumped up, painted, and wrapped in silk like a prize pig for the emperor. One wrong glance, one rumor, and you'll find your neck under a blade before your next meal digests. Fun, right? From dawn to dusk, you're trained like an obedient lapdog. How to speak, how to bow so low your spine aches, how to lower your gaze when someone above your station so much as breathes in your direction. You learn the 1001 rules for how to survive the court. Never turn your back to an older concubine. Never speak when the empress is present unless spoken to. Never eat more than you're served, but always look grateful. Never talk about your family, even if you could remember them clearly. Not that you would.
Nope.
They sold you for less than a bag of salt. But that's not even the worst part of court life. Your feet, crushed and bound until your bones snap and heel crooked. A brutal, calculated custom for girls like you, especially concubines. Looking delicate is everything, and good luck trying to run off. Every step feels like you're walking on knives. But you're not alone in this suffering, of course. The palace is stuffed to the rafters with other girls just like you. Some born to noble families, some snatched up like stray kittens, all clawing at the same invisible ladder. Step out of line and you don't get a second chance. One girl in your training dorm giggles when her Imperial Highness trips on the palace steps. Next day, she's gone. Rumor is she's scrubbing the latrines near the stables. The polite rumor, anyway. A few years slip by. You're 18 when they herd you into the selection hall, a line of silk-wrapped offerings with sweat sticking your sleeves to your skin. The emperor strolls past you like he's picking fruit at a market stall. Some look too eager, or not eager enough. He barely pauses at each girl. Nope, not likely. Yikes. You? You just stand there, eyes down, heart pounding like a drum. He flicks your chin up with one pale finger. This one. You keep your eyes down as they drag you off. Congrats. You're officially the emperor's property. The older concubines roll their eyes behind jeweled fans. And so begins your new career. Soft silks, low bows from the servants, jasmine-scented baths. The royal perks look good, until you remember the pressure is on. Bear a child, or else. A court physician pinches your wrists, presses a cold palm to your belly 3 times a month and swears raw eggs and deer antler wine will make your womb cooperative. Your meals are weighed out to the last grain of rice. And the Emperor? You're just a body to him, not a person. Something to be used until you're no longer useful. Some days you catch your reflection and don't even recognize the girl staring back. It's all pressure. From the Emperor, from the other girls, from the walls themselves. One bad glance, one rumor in the wrong ear. That's all it takes. Some nights you think about getting out, slipping past the palace lanterns, disappearing into the dark. But with your feet, you'd never make it past the gates. They'd save you the trouble of packing by separating your pretty head from the rest of your body. Ever seen a fertile concubine retire? Exactly. If you're lucky, you might bear him a son. If you're unlucky, you're just another name in the court registry, destined to fade. Or worse. Now you're really starting to hate it. But you also hate the thought of being invisible again, which brings you to the worst part of your time in the palace. Hope. A few months later, the nausea hits every morning like a truck, and your belly starts to swell. You're pregnant. For a moment, you believe this will save you. You dream of your child swaddled in gold silk, little shoes, a tiny voice calling you mother. You give birth and it's a girl. Not ideal for you. Definitely not ideal for her. But hey, she's the Emperor's proof that you're fertile, which means you're worth something. For now. Now the hallways come with side eyes, fake smiles, and hissing. The other concubines hate you, and they hate your daughter even more. So you hold her close, as if your arms could shield her from the palace. For 3 short years, she's the only good thing you have. Then one night after tea, she starts to cough. The fever creeps in. You beg the court doctors, slip coins to the maids, whisper prayers to every ancestor you can think of. The doctors blame the wind spirits, but deep down, you know better. One night, she's curled up in your arms. The next, she's gone. And with her goes the last bit of you that bothered trying to be good. You should have stayed quiet, smiled sweetly, taken what was given. But grief has a funny way of turning fear into fury. You don't know who did it, just that it was one of them. So you do the reasonable thing. Torch the whole harem of rival concubines. Metaphorically, of course. You whisper to the right eunuchs. Slip silk pouches heavy with silver to the maids. You smile when the Empress passes, all while your spies slide through corridors like shadows. One rival is caught with forbidden herbs under her pillow, banished to the cold palace, where unwanted concubines rot behind locked doors. Another, you tip off the guards about her midnight visits with a handsome soldier. By sunrise, she's hanging in the courtyard for everyone to see. Over the years, more and more rivals vanish. Poison in their tea, a tumble from a garden terrace, a silk scarf forgotten in the Emperor's chambers. They drop like flies. The palace whispers it's bad luck. You call it justice for your daughter. And the Emperor? With so many rivals gone, you're back in his favor. And soon enough, at 23, you're pregnant again. You bear him a son this time. Now you're untouchable. Or, so you think. Your courtyards double. Servants drape you in precious necklaces and jade hairpins. The other girls bow so low you can't see their painted faces. If looks could kill, the Empress would have your head on a spike. Your son is often whisked away to be tutored and fussed over by court nurses. But he's still yours, and they all know it. He grows charming, clever, and loyal to you. He learns how to hold a brush, then a sword, then secrets he's not supposed to know. He watches the crown prince, the Empress's sickly heir, coughing blood into silk handkerchiefs. He knows that if the heir goes, The emperor will pick from the concubine's sons. You tell yourself it's all for him, but by now, you know it's for you too. At 39, the whispers start. After everything you've done, they're starting to piece it together. Oops. One concubine tells anyone who will listen that you're a witch. Because the crown prince coughs blood, your boy's perfectly healthy, and the emperor looks grayer by the week. Insulting, really. Like you couldn't have pulled this off without a little black magic. You'd roll your eyes, but you know how this place works. It's all too likely your head will roll instead. Luck's fine, until they decide it's witchcraft. After all, you're one of the last original concubines still standing. And that's suspicious when so many others have vanished. Word spreads fast, and suddenly everyone's got a story about your spells and secret poisons. Months slip by while your allies disappear, and the stares get colder. You plead your case to the emperor, but he won't even let you finish your sentence. He's older now, fragile, suspicious. You see it in his pinched face. He's convinced you're the shadow draining his life away, just to get your son on the throne. Turns out the palace still has a few knives left for your back. They gather at dawn, whisper in the right ears, slip the right bribes, and by dusk, the emperor's seal is stamped on your fate. No more gardens and courtyards, no more gold pens, no more bowing heads. They drag you to the cold palace, the same damp stone cage you sent so many rivals to rot in. Now it's yours. Hope you like drafty rooms, rats for company, and the world's worst room service. Congrats. You've officially come full circle. And your son? He keeps his head. But he's stuck being the boy with the witch mother. Not exactly the legacy you planned. But that's court life for you. Eat or be eaten. So yeah, it sucks to be a concubine.